Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream of Malts and Meeples. I am Petter. I run this channel and as well as the Nerdologist website. That was interesting. The screen just went black for half a second for no good reason. It looks like we were still streaming though, so that's good. Fingers crossed, everything will continue to work. So today we are continuing our playthrough of Pandemic Legacy. Pandemic Legacy is like the board game Pandemic, except there's a progressing story that goes throughout, and you can see the board is changing. We're placing stickers on the board. We have, up here we have objectives, and we get to start with some permanent buildings on the board. So you get to change the board every time. There are cards you tear up. There are stickers that you get to open and add into the rule book. And generally you're playing through the story of Pandemic Legacy, or in Pandemic Legacy. If you enjoy the videos that I put out, please consider giving the video a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. Subscriptions are going to help more people find this channel and hopefully get more people interested in solo board gaming. So that's the board game part. But now let's talk about our beer. So the malt today is double Gunpowder from the Brewing Projekt in Wisconsin. So this is a double IPA with Gunpowder green tea, Citra, Centennial. Both of those are hops, as well as honey. So, let's see what this is like. It's a decent IPA. It falls into the trap of a lot of doubles, in my opinion, where it is too sweet. The double and double IPA doesn't mean twice as much hops. It means that there's extra grain added, so higher sugar content, which means higher alcohol volume. And if it gets too sweet, it just kind of tastes a little bit more boozy than, say, if it was a lot of hops. So this, in some ways, could probably use a little bit more hops, probably a little bit more Citra, just to cut through some of that sweetness. But overall, not a bad double. And tastes quite refreshing on a hot day. Especially a day that I've already been outside mowing, and that was pretty warm. However, let's jump into our next game. Getting down here in the Legacy deck. First game in June. So this will take us, well, potentially halfway through the game. Minimum number of times you can play this game is 12. Maximum is 24. So right now for us the maximum is 19, I believe. But we have our briefing here. See how many games we actually get through before we beat it, hopefully, fingers crossed. But June briefing. You're our best team and you're doing exactly what we need you to do. But even you can't do the job without the right equipment. We're gathering resources to help your team do what's asked of you. Pick up your equipment at military bases and research stations. So, that then gives us a number of things to open. I'm guessing, since one of them is J, that one is most certainly going to go in the rule book. Let's move So stickers out of the way, and let's get our top secret folder. Look for J. Hey, that was easy. Ooh, that's fun. Equip. Add a military equipment sticker to a card in your hand if you are in a military base. Add a medical equipment sticker to a card in your hand if you are at a research station. Each city card can only have one sticker. So, let's see what the stickers are. Assuming that's what we're going to be opening here. We have 46 next. That could be, yeah, that's for the action card. So, that there. It just repeats what we put in the rule book. No more rules from this, so let's see what's next. 17. Alright, let's see. 3 and 2. I'll go through what these are in a second here. So, there are a number of different things we can add to cards. Induce pluripotent stem cells. Oof. This card can be used as a city card of any color when finding a cure. That's nice. Drone escort. Discard this card when you drive or ferry into a collapsing or fallen city. You do not need to spend any additional cards. A couple of those there. Hazmat. Discard this card when you start your turn in a city containing faded figures. You don't take a scar. 3 hazmat suits, that's nice. Field hospital. Discard to add a research station to your city, regardless of panic level, for this turn only. It may not be made permanent. So that's a good way to get out of a city fast if you need to. And all of these things say not an action to use. Grenade belt. Discard at any time to remove 1 faded figure from the city you're in. So we'll keep these set aside over here so we remember that we can use them. Then we have more to draw. We have maybe one more thing. New character, the soldier. You do not gain a scar if you begin your turn in a city with a faded figure. For an action, you may pick up an equipment card from the discard pile. You cannot discover a cure. I think we're going to, for that reason, stick with our 2 characters of Luke Cage and Peggy Carter. That the soldier is really good, actually. Extremely good, but if we had more characters, if we could keep someone with a co-worker relationship with Peggy Carter, it would make it a whole lot more viable for us to move away from her. But as it is, she has made curing diseases so easy that it's hard to say no to keeping her in there. And Luke Cage allows us to build easily, which then that helps get us one of our objectives. At least until we build a couple more military bases. If we could build a couple permanent military bases, say one in Tehran or Karachi, somewhere like that, and then one in Johannesburg, something like that, that would allow us some options. Cairo. So remember, normally you don't place from drawing these, but that was the new thing that we were given. Couple blue. Oh, that's a pretty good start, and everybody's favorite time, pile shoveling. So, thus far in this game, I feel like we have gotten a little bit lucky, but so having played it with 4 and now with 2, I think you could make the argument that 2, well, I would make the argument that 2 is much easier than 4. I haven't really done much to upgrade characters. We did that a whole lot more when it was 4 players. But with 2 characters, and we're not even playing with like the strongest combo, which would be Dispatcher and Medic, we're able to get the cures fast. And really that's huge for this game. And with 4 players, it made it a little bit trickier to pass around cards and like who was going to need what card. When we had to meet up in cities a whole lot more often, and you just got less turns with each character. At times that was a little bit difficult because you wanted to be able to have that one character that you needed to have take a turn, be able to take a turn soon, but sometimes it was 3. They had just taken their turn and you're like, well, we're probably screwed at that point. Let's give this a quick shuffle, and then no, 18 games, that's the max, not 19. No, I was 19. Where's it, 19? Yeah, 19 games left. Possibly. Hopefully not. So 3 San Francisco, 3 in Paris. This is why I put a military base in, and 3 in Mexico City. Not bad. 2 in Beijing, 2 faded in Mumbai, and 2 faded in Baghdad. And then 1 in St. Pete. I should get those. Set that off next to Paris there. 1 in Delhi. Ooh. Delhi does not have a faded city sticker yet. Should get that added in. And 1 in Lagos. Just do a quick check. That looks right to me. Yes, that looks right to me. We start now with our win bonus from last time. Maybe you can read it, hopefully not too much reflection there. We get to place 3 roadblock markers on the board to start. There, there, and there. So we've started to kind of cut off the faded from the rest of the world. And in this case, maybe the rest of the world faded too. Let's see who goes first. Luke Cage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like the best call. Deal with 1 spot. Especially now, Baghdad. Let's get another faded. We got no way to remove those. Probably. I need to refresh myself on rioting cities, what that means. how does that change? Panic level. Somewhere in here. Of course, it's not where I would hope it would be. Riding cannot take direct flights or charter flights, so we can walk in. So I'm just concerned about Istanbul with Baghdad so close. A little bit of an issue. Let's see then. Done that, we flip our 2 here. New York gets a blue. And Tokyo gets a red. Now, it is Peggy's turn. Tough to know at this point what the best bet is. Actually, best bet is probably going to go 1, 2, cure for 3. And we'll actually use the adjacent city cure. Tokyo is connected to San Francisco. Keep on probably leaning just out of the camera, my apologies. Not a huge reason to take out that one versus a blue cube. Just kind of fun to use the ability, really. Yellow, red, and blue. So we are not at the point where we can cure anything yet. We'll have to see what we draw. I'll move Cage's turn. We have Johannesburg and LA. So Luke Cage's other ability is once per turn. As a move action, move from any city containing a structure to any city. So, this is going to be useful. I can just go straight to here for an action. I'm hiding him. Build a military base for the other action. Gear that for another action. So that's 3. I'm at a military base. I might as well spend my last action instead of moving somewhere. We have a grenade belt in play now. Great thing about this grenade belt is if I can get to Baghdad, I'll be able to use it to blow someone up. Probably should have put that on Cairo instead of Baghdad. Could have just flown in. I wonder if I can peel that off still. Yep. We're going to put it on Cairo. That will then allow us to fly into Baghdad and blow up a guy next turn. Hopefully that will be soon enough. Red, that tells us what color we're going for there. And blue. That kind of sucks because I don't really want to get rid of any of those, but Paris going away. I have a plan for those cards, so feel like I need to. But I can't pass the red cards yet because there's too many cards there. Can't take the blue cards, so I think it will end up being just disease controls. Cubes. Keeping it under check. Milan. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. I'd have to do. So, before I leave, take 1 off of San Francisco. 1 action. Walk to Los Angeles, take 1 off of LA. And then go adjacent, take 1 off of Miami. So now there's only 1 spot that could potentially outbreak, and it's kind of a sucky location. We now have Ho Chi Minh City. It gives us extra red, and we have our first epidemic. Draw from the bottom. Hey, speaking of Ho Chi Minh City, And this is a decent sized stack of cards. I don't think it can be that much bigger. So we have to move the infection rate up. Delhi, it's not ideal. And Mexico City. So good thing I removed that yellow cube there. It's the end of that turn. Here we are going to fly using Baghdad to Baghdad. Use grenade belt as not an action. Blow up a faded figure. So we've only spent one action at this point. Walk to Tehran. 2 actions. Build a military base. 3 actions. And that actually wouldn't be a bad idea. No need. So I'm going to say I could quarantine. I can fly somewhere to set up my next turn, so I think I'll just fly from research to research. I could put another one of these upgrades on, but I don't want them on any of these cards, really. I'm looking to get them on as many of these black cards as possible. Because I don't have that much use for them besides flying. So we're drawing 2. So we get Tehran, which means Tehran has a figure show up. And we get back-to-back epidemics, which means we will have an outbreak. And it's... oh, that is rough. Manila. We have 3 cards here. It's going to take a little bit, so I just do not remember what card is what anymore. But we're drawing 2 of these. Delhi. Fine, I guess. So either Mexico City outbreaks or Manila outbreaks. Mexico City outbreaks. To Los Angeles, Lima, Bogota, Miami, and Chicago. We have our first outbreak. And first time Miami has had an outbreak means it is going to become an unstable city. So here's the important thing that we have. We have an extra red card. We have Ho Chi Minh City. We discard that to go to Ho Chi Minh City. We know Ho Chi Minh City is not in the top of the cards. However, we have, so that was 1 action. 2, 3, 4. We have locked red, so it will not outbreak right now. Would have been nice to be able to deal with Miami, but, or not Miami, Mexico City, but we know it's sitting right here. We also know that we are not going to have an epidemic show up. I mean, that's about as bad as it could go. Algiers and Istanbul. And I have an extra card. Might as well keep Algiers. So we have that there. And we flip to here. Manila gains back a cube, and Milan gains a cube. So, it's an interesting situation. We have every... I want to walk here, I think. 1. Build a base for 2. I'm going to grenade belt on Tehran for 3. I'm going to fly to Tehran for 4. I'm going to blow up that guy for 5. Now you might be like, well, why wouldn't you wait until you're at Delhi? I didn't have any other great options for this because of the fact that I can't end my turn in a city with a faded figure. So I couldn't have ended my turn in Tehran. I could have walked to Moscow, but that then takes me further away from Delhi. I guess I could have walked to Karachi and then spent a turn, but Delhi's also in there. We can get in and quarantine Delhi and then leave quickly if things don't go well. Let's see, what do we got? Blue and Moscow. Alright, we are going to do this now. Oh wait, hold on. Almost forgot. Beijing is now in danger. And Tokyo gains one. So we are going to do this now. It kind of sucks because we have 8 cards. We have to get rid of one. Getting rid of Atlanta is not bad because we can easily get to Atlanta. Red is cured. That was 2 actions. 3, do adjacent city. 4, do the city I'm in. We're at least now in a better position where we have one of the diseases cured. We have some collection of both colors left. And the reason we could cure not on his turn is because it no longer requires an action to cure red. Same with yellow. Let's draw our 2. Hey, yellow and blue. We're at 7. One more yellow can automatically cure that. One more blue, be able to pass it off or get the cards easily enough. Take care of that. Let's see what we got here. San Francisco gets a blue, and Los Angeles gets a yellow. And that takes us to Luke Cage's turn. So now we're going to want to figure out a way to either eradicate red or head towards yellow. Blue is not much of an issue this time, so I think I'm going to fly into Atlanta for 1, go 2, 3, pull 1 off of there, just to be on the safe side for 4. Also sets us up to get to Bogota or Sao Paulo somewhere on our next turn and put down a military base, getting us closer to that objective. So we now have enough to cure both of those. Haven't completed either of the other objectives. Let's see what we got here. Algiers is now an issue as well. And Mumbai is now an issue as well. So I think we have to try and do this as fast as possible. We have to eradicate disease and build in Africa and South America our military bases. Because we have enough to cure. Trying to figure out if there's any good way that I can deal with both of the red diseases, but I don't think there is. So I think it's better to do 1, 2, 3, let's have a little fun with this. 4, Algiers can now be counted as any color. We will immediately use it. Cure yellow. Yellow is now cured as well. Draw our 2 cards. Yellow and the Karachi. That's fine. This is getting nerve-wracking. Ho Chi Minh City, of course. And Baghdad. Ooh. I thought for a second Baghdad had 3. It only had 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those places about ready to go, and we need to get here fast. One, 2. Now we're 1 away from having that objective done. 3. The reason we want to get here fast is that we're going to be able to quarantine that off a little bit so that now, wait, does that give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh, we do have 6 military bases. Nice. So we just have to get blue cured and deal with red. Reason I did that though is don't really want Paris to start going downhill when an epidemic comes out like that. You might be like, well, Paris might not go downhill. There are plenty of other places. Yes, yes there are. Lima gets 3 yellow cubes. Sends to LA, Mexico City, Bogota, and Santiago. Taking our outbreak level to 2, and we're drawing 3 of these cards. Also, they are now an unstable city. You can kind of tell that, yeah, you end up with a lot of unstable cities. However, we are in a really crappy spot, and I had wondered if I maybe should have done this instead. But we have Los Angeles, Mexico City, and Lima chained together. With the faded figures, we have a couple of them chained together, Delhi and Mumbai, but it's not horrible. Let's see what we got. Oop, wrong stack. Lima. This is why it's bad. So Lima goes here, here. That causes an outbreak. Causes Mexico City to outbreak, there, and there. Causes Los Angeles to outbreak, there, and all the way to Sydney, there. However, Mexico City would have caused Bogota to outbreak, so there, and there. That's it. That's what we have left. And Mexico City outbreaks. Drop into Miami. So, we have a few stickers to put out. I have a feeling it might come down to this. Bogota. Comes a 1. Lima. So 2. Los Angeles gets a 1, then it gets a 2. And Mexico City is at a 3. And that is how you lose at Pandemic Legacy. But let's go through and wrap up the end of the game stuff. So we've always 6, 5. We've won every other game. Our funding goes up by 2. 2-2. Put True S in there. So now if we go in here, you win the game. And we do have this card here as well. It says, at the end of the first game in June, before you make your upgrades, you get to open up whatever W is. Because the next thing, besides our increased funding, is we get to do our upgrades, but it told us to hold off. Equipment. You may add 3 equipment to any cards in the player deck. That's a pretty good, decent game end upgrade. We'll call it amazing, but not bad. We don't get to scratch this off yet because we have not won. It just tells us to draw it. So we know we have that coming. Let's quickly now spend a couple minutes going through what our options are for our upgrades. Airlift, move 1 pawn to any city, including rioting, collapsing, or fallen cities. Discard 1 to 3 cards from your hand to take additional 1 to 3 actions. Take 2 extra actions. Remove 2 disease cubes anywhere on the board. Build a research station in any city. Skip the next infect city step. Add 1 military base to any city. Swap which character you have. Place a quarantine marker on any 2 cities on the board. Look at and rearrange the top 6 cards of the infection deck. And remove any 1 card from the infection discard pile for the game. You may play this between the infect and intensify steps of the epidemic. I think I want Forecast and 1 Quiet Night. Those 2 are 2 of my favorites for the game, and I just want to double check how long this has been going. About almost 40 minutes. So I will be packing this up after we finish selecting our game end bonuses, but I hope I won't be able to play tomorrow night or Friday, or Saturday. Saturday is board game night, so having people coming over to play board games, I'll probably give some sort of recap for that down the line. But let's think about our game end upgrades, and I'm going to take a drink of beer while I think. Alright. I haven't necessarily come to a firm decision on this yet, but I think we're going to be placing some... I don't know that I'm going to place permanent roadblocks. I think what I'm going to do instead is place a couple of permanent military bases. In particular, I'm looking at Johannesburg. It's well out of the way. Since I didn't eradicate any diseases, I can't actually make it better there. So if I do Taipei, it's so close. Do I do Tehran? That one's easy to build. South America is a little bit trickier, but I'm still quite close. So I think I'm only going to do 1 of those. So now I already start the game with 3 military bases on the board. So, nope, always the opposite way, I think. So that means we're going to be close to having that one completed. Then I think I used all of these upgrades that I really liked. Let's look at some look at some of the player upgrades here. Or I might end up going back to... I could turn Peggy Carter into a veteran. She can move between military bases. Could use adjacent city card when building. Or if I'm in a military base, I can quarantine adjacent. Doing the action. Airstrike to remove a figure. Let's look at some of the originals. I have no more research stations out there, so I can't do that. Did not eradicate any diseases, can't do that. Have some unfended events. Remove a cure from anywhere on the board. Look at as many infection cards as the current infection rate. Don't change the order. In Grassroots program, person who plays this card may discard up to 3 city cards, removing 1 cube. Not super useful. Flexible is interesting though. For an action, discard a card to draw a card of the same color from the player discard pile. So the interesting things is you could discard Karachi to get back Algiers, which will allow you to cure a disease faster, but it would also allow you to get back grenades. Increased hand limit by 1. Look at the top 4 cards. The 2 cards in the infection deck at the start of your turn. Now I think I'm actually going to go with Roadblock, but I thought I wasn't going to go with. I can place 3 of them. We're going to go here. There. And there. So we've now we've started to cut off different places on the map. We have the beginnings of a nice line here for Europe, and we do get to place 3 more roadblocks with this win bonus at the beginning of our next game, which will hopefully help us. Let's see what this looked like quick, and then I'll sign off. Had we not had that outbreak chain happen, we did have a good amount of time to deal with everything. But that's kind of how the game goes sometimes. You feel like you're getting close to setup, and then all of a sudden you just can't quite do everything you wanted to do. And that's something I really like about this game. If you could do everything you wanted to do, you wouldn't feel the pressure, obviously. So, with that, take another pull on your beer, and we'll see you next time. Bottoms up.